Welcome back to WGTV and episode 53. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Adam, the host, and tonight with me I've got Adam, that's right, and Andy. So it's like AAA tonight. That's what we're going on. So these two gentlemen will be going toe to toe. I'd just like to say, as always, a huge thank you to all our patrons and our sponsors and affiliates that you'll have seen on the way in on the intro. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for sponsoring us. Because without you, you just make the show so much easier to run, and it's great to provide for you. So a big round of applause for all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And tonight then, on with the show. Well, Adam, what are you going to be using?
I will be idling on with my Idoneth Deepkin, featuring several Eidolons.
Almost like a theme.
Yeah.
And Andy, you'll be hitting his Eidolons with
several Bloodthirsters.
Several Bloodthirsters, right. Okay then, fantastic. So this is going to be good. But before we find out and have a quick closer look at those armies, let's find out what scenario you're going to be playing. Some say that if he removed his hood, the sun would fall from the sky. All we know is he's called the Cleric.
No reward without risk. This sight is suffused with power that courses through the veins of magic users as easily as breathing. Slaying wizards here is a dangerous task, for Andor's might thrums under their skin and threatens to tear them apart. When a wizard is slain, before removing that model from play, roll a dice. On a 4-up, the wizard explodes as their magical energies are released uncontrollably. Each unit within a number of inches equal to the wounds characteristic of that wizard suffers D3 mortal wounds. You score in this mission as such. Score 1 point for one objective, another for 2 objectives, a third for more objectives. Score 2 points for completing your battle tactic.
Well, thank you, Cleric. That wasn't too terrifying. Thank you very much for explaining that. And now, let's find out about your army first, Andy.
So here's my Khorne army for tonight's game. The general is the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster, and he's got the Halo of Blood artifact. The next Bloodthirster is the Unfettered Fury. And on to the third Bloodthirster, the Instant Rage. And then as we work our way over here, we've got the Bloodmaster in the Skull Altar. And ready to be blood sacrificed, we've got some Reavers at the back. And panning over here, we've got the Blood Throne and a unit of 20 Bloodletters. And finally, we've got 2 units of 5 Fleshhounds. The grand strategy is reap the blood tithe, so that means I have to spend points after the first turn I have to spend my blood tithe on a different reward each turn after turn 1. So blood tithe are going to be important in this game for me, and that is my army for tonight.
So we've met Andy's army. Now let me take you under the sea. And here are the Idoneth Deepkin. So we have 2 units of thralls, which are screening at the front there. With, in between, we've got the Achillean King, who has the Amulet of Destiny for a 6-up ward. Behind them, we have 2 units of Reavers, just sheltering in the safety of the Gloontide shipwreck at the moment, within which is the Soul Render. And I have a Warlord Battalion here, which gives him an artefact as well. And his artefact is the one that, if he is within 12 inches of an enemy hero, he can roll 2 dice, and if he beats the distance between him and the enemy hero, then that enemy hero is -1 to hit and wound for the rest of the game. And then, as promised, some Eidolons. So I've got an Eidolon Aspect of the Storm here, and then another one in the form of Sharky over here. He's an Aspect of the Storm as well. And then my General, who is the Aspect of the Sea. And then down there, his little wizard mate is the Tidecaster, and they're both sitting on their arcane terrain, waiting to cause lots of mayhem. And I believe that the Idoneth Deepkin are going to be taking first turn.
Good.
Should mention, my grand strategy is to keep Andy 3 inches away from my Gloomtide shipwreck at the back there. Welcome to Idoneth turn 1, and not an awful lot has happened, but let me talk you through it. So we did the battle tactic of magical dominance, because I thought, Khorne, they don't do magic, that will be fine. So tried to cast Mystic Shield with my Tidecaster, who was standing on Arcane. I thought, what could go wrong? Rolled a 7 on the dice, plus 1 for Arcane for 8. And I thought, you know what, I'm not even going to do a primal dice for that. I'm going to do the flex and see what Andy's got, and of course Andy rolled a primal dice at it and got 9, didn't he?
Yeah, rolled a 6 and then a primal to get the 9 and unbind.
So it was, yeah, I was kind of magically dominated really, wasn't I? Managed to get an arcane bolt off with the general, but then failed to get the gnashing jaws, which I forgot to mention earlier, but failed to cast them, so who cares anyway. Otherwise, the army just shuffled up a bit, tried to get on these 2 objectives. The Reavers tried to stay in range of the ship to keep their ward save. And then, yeah, we just shot a dog off, who, you know, revenge for them unbinding my spell and failing my battle tactic. But that is really all she wrote for my turn 1. So I've had better, but I do have 2 points on the board. So we'll see what the Khorne can do about that.
Okay, Khorne turn 1. So battle tactic was intimidate the invaders. I think that was really the only one we could go for. So we first thing was we tried to get some prayers off. Did not start the turn well at all. So the Bloodmaster, which was garrisoned at the time, tried to do blood sacrifice. I did position badly though, because I was going to do it onto the Reavers, but they were actually too far away. I'm not sure why I did that. So he had to try and sacrifice himself, which he rolled a 3. So I had to re-roll it for the altar, then he rolled a 1, so that didn't go off, hence didn't get my blood tithe. Forgot to say at the start, I did start the game with 1 blood tithe because the general is favoured of Khorne. However, blood tithes are pretty key to me in this game, with it being the grand strat to use them for the rewards each turn after turn 1, so not getting that's not ideal. Second prayer was bronze flesh from the throne, and that was done onto the general, Math of Khorne. So he's got +1 to his save. So that was the hero phase done. We didn't spend any blood tithe, so it was just a case of movement of trying to get everyone out of the territory really to try and get the battle tactic. So we moved the dogs forward, blood letters all moved this way. The Reavers kind of had to shuffle. They're a bit out of the game at the moment, but that's hopefully for a battle tactic in another turn. Hopefully they'll come back into the game later on, just to be sacrificed really. And then we moved the Bloodthirsters forward. End of movement phase, and again forgot to mention this at the start, but if you look at the back corner, we have an infiltrator at the back, so Valkyria dropped in, so at the end of the movement phase you can drop her in more than 9 or more away from the enemy, and then you can choose a model within 10, and on a roll of 2 or more, sorry, it's that many mortal wounds. So I can't remember the name.
Soul Render.
The Soul Render took 3,
2.
saved 1, yes, saved 1. So 2 mortal wounds onto him. There was shooting. The dog at the front managed to snipe out, again don't really know, sniped out 1 from that unit.
Thralls.
the thralls, took one of them.
Just a quick point on that, he heals one of them back.
So he's back, so that was worthwhile. The same old story. So that was the only shooting of note. No, that was the only shooting. And then I wasn't overly sure about doing the charges anyway, but we tried to, but we failed. They were like, I think 10-inch charge, a little bit short for them, but all of them failed, unfortunately. I was a bit in two minds whether to charge or not anyway, so we didn't do. So that was the end of the turn. So got the battle tactic for 2, 1-2 more. So at the end of turn 1, that takes me on to 5. We have the priority roll for 2.
Is it possible to sweat underwater? Yes, I'll be taking it, thank you.
I thought you might be.
It's Idoneth turn 2. We are running and charging, so the waves are rushing up the beach towards the Khorne. Hope that's dramatic enough for you. So we had a battle tactic of Maelstrom, so I had to charge with a hero and a battle line, and one of them had to still be within 3 at the end of the turn. We had lots of charges to make, running and charging as we were, so I'd lined up a few ideas, but earlier on in the turn we managed to get our Ganashing Jaws out this time, and he's over there waiting to run roughshod over something in Andy's next turn probably. We also had a Mystic Shield, we got an Arcane Bolt, which typically for me I forgot to use, but Mystic Shield on the Killian King, and that was pretty much it for magic. Then moved things up. We obviously had a bit of a Valkyr problem, so had to reverse one of the Eidolons to try and deal with her. As you can see, she's still there, so that plan didn't quite go to plan. But apart from that, everything swept around the corner over here. We've got the King, the Shark and the General into Andy's lines there. We've been beating up dogs. We went through about 63 bloodletters. We've not mixed it with the big boys yet, but we have shot this guy quite a bit.
6 wounds.
For 6 wounds off him. But yeah, that's the state of play really. So I still control these 2 objectives, but I've not been able to get any more.
And not a single blood tithe.
Not a single blood tithe, no. I left that one dog alive just to spite you. So at the end of the turn I score 4 and I move up to 6. So just 1 point ahead with Khorne turn 2 to come.
Whoosh!
It's my thing.
That's Thrall's getting washed away. Is that more dynamic? Is that dynamic enough for you? Right, turn at 2 for Khorne. What happened? So hero phase. We've not been having much luck with the prayers. Yet again, we started off okay. So we did blood sacrifice over here. To get a blood tithe, which was much needed, so that got off fine with the Bloodmaster. We then attempted to try and get some blood letters back, which we really needed to here. So we went for the blood mark prayer, but rolled a 1. So that's twice that's happened this game. So we took I think it was 1 mortal wound there. We didn't get any blood letters back, which was kind of needed. Battle tactic was surround and destroy. So we picked the Blood Reavers at the back over there, this unit of Fleshhounds, and also Valkyr, who is over there. So they were the 3 we were going for. So that was the end of the hero phase. Oh no, not quite. We actually got rid of the gnashing jaws. We unbound that, so that went, which was good because it could have been trouble for us this turn. And then we decided to retreat 2 units out because we kind of needed this for the battle tactic. And I was quite comfortable with that, thinking we were going to get it fairly easy. But as the turn went on, it got a little bit dicey. But we'll get to that in a minute. So we retreated the Fleshhounds out of combat, kept them within 6. We retreated Valkyr out of combat over on that side, and the Blood Reavers just sort of shuffled around but stayed within 6. Movement phase, and then the Bloodthirsters kind of avoided this area. I thought we weren't ready for that yet, so we went that way, jumped over and got within charge range over there. The Bloodthrown sort of reversed out a little bit. That was that. A little bit of shooting. We took some thralls off there with the Bloodthirster. And then we charged. It was an okay combat phase. It could have been a lot better though. I was hoping for the sort of big roll in the middle because we got him within 8 of quite a few units, the instant rage guy, but he whiffed his roll in with an all-out attack. I think we got 1 through. We did 5 damage with him. But the Wrath of Khorne did what he needed to do, cleared a unit out, and then the Unfettered Fury got a few more. It was okay, but we could have. I was hoping for a lot more really in the combat phase, considering 3 of them were all in and they all fought one after another. So that was the end of the combat. We lost a few more bloodletters around here, and then the dicey bit was Sharky piled in to the bloodletters, but that got him within range, within 2 inches of the Fleshhounds, and Adam decided to put at least 2 of his attacks into them, but luckily just about got away with it.
Spear whiffed,
and we got away with it.
We got 1 through, so we only killed 1 hound with it, and then got a few more off.
So we got away with that, but that allowed us to get the battle tactic. So we got score 1, 2 and more, which now puts me on to 10 points at the end of turn 2, and into turn 3 roll off.
But struggling to keep my head above water at the moment, to be honest. So we're sort of fighting a rearguard action, but turn 3, so I strike first across the table. So I thought maybe I could do something with that. So I went for Assassins of the High Tide, which means I have to kill 2 units whilst under the influence of the High Tide, which basically means I need to kill 2 units in combat. It's Khorne, what could go wrong? So we began with some magic. I got a Mystic Shield off on the King. I tried to heal him, and Andy did some weird stuff with Blood Tithe and stopped it. Did some other spells and that. I think failed to get the jaws off again. So magic. But yeah, then sort of had decisions to make because Valkyr's still back here, and my grand strategy is to keep things away from my ship. So I wanted to deal with her, but there are 3 Bloodthirsters here. So one of my Eidolons came up to try and deal with that, because I think if I can deal with that, then maybe I can deal with her later. But there's a little bit kind of limited resources situation going on here. The Reavers all kind of retreated out and just tried to get things on objectives. And over here was where the killing fields happened, because there was a little dog over there. My general took care of that. The king, I would love to say, took care of 3, count them 3 bloodletters, but he needed Sharky's help to do that. And then the thralls absolutely slapped a throne off the table. So at the end of all of that, I did end up with 3 objectives, and therefore more for the first time in the game, and got my battle tactic. So you'd think I was happy, but no, I'm still just 1 point ahead.
Not today. Not now. No, it was more of a giant axe this time.
Definitely.
Turn 3, Khorne. Started off a little bit slow, but as the turn went on, it got better. So we were struggling for battle tactics at the start of the turn. I was struggling to think which one I was going to do. So we turned to the Khorne tactics, and we chose Slay the Sorcerer, which we then picked. She was here. Name
Tidecaster.
Tidecaster was there, but we'll get that later. So we picked Slay the Sorcerer. Blood Tithe, we went for Blood Sacrifice again on himself, which he got. Just one mortal wound to him, the Bloodmaster, so that got us another Blood Tithe. That was the only prayer that we had left after the Blood Throne died in the previous turn. Finest Hour on the guy in the middle, the big Unaffected Fury guy, mainly because he was in combat and he was -1 to hit and -1 to wound at the moment, so Finest Hour seemed the best choice. Movement wise, finally got the Reavers to move over towards the Bloodmaster so we can start sacrificing them from the next few turns. Bloodmaster kind of stayed where he was near the Skull Altar. Oh, actually, just go back to the hero phase. We thought we might be able to snipe out the wizard before having to get into combat, and then we could move the Bloodthirsters elsewhere. So we went for the Braskull Meteor, and that's on a 5-up you get a mortal wound. We got 1 and she had 2 left, so left her with 1, so we still had to deal with her another way. So this Bloodthirster jumped over, Instant Rage, jumped in, had a 9-inch charge to do. This Wrath of Khorne, he had a bit of a tricky decision. It was either go that way around to try and deal with anything that might be after Valkyr, the Reavers, or come this way after this Reavers. No, the Thralls, wasn't it there? But putting him potentially within range of these. We took the decision to go this way simply to get the objective back. So that was movement. Charges, so like I say, we needed a 9-inch charge here, which we got. We got a 10. So jumped over, got that charge in, got the charge in the middle. Valkyr stayed where she was. And then we did a roar. No, we didn't roar. We did a stomp. And we got rid of the wizard with the stomp. And then we had the chain of Bloodthirsters all going one after another. Dealt with the thralls there. They all went. The Unaffected Fury guy took a few wounds off. I think the Tidecaster. No,
there was an Eidolon that you were
Eidolon,
attacking.
that's right. I'll get them right eventually. The Eidolon. Yeah. Took a few wounds off, but then it was up to the big guy, and finally the axe worked. So we got all the hits through, and we got 2 6s. So 8 mortal wounds, all within 8 inches. I can't remember the last time that happened.
So the body count was 2 Reavers that were here, the Eidolon that was there, and the Soul Render who was here. And he'd also already killed the Tidecaster.
So it went off. So it was destruction all round. So that was good. So it turned out not to be a bad turn in the end. Battle tactic achieved, score 1, score 2, score more. So that puts me onto 15 at the end of turn 3, 15 place 11. And another roll off. Will I win one?
WGTV! Well, that's how good we are, isn't it? Yeah, the only reason I've stayed in this game is by taking priorities. So we'll do that. I'm going to whoosh into a doggy paddle for this turn because it's all just not happened. Normally my shirt says this turn was sponsored by the rule of 1, or the number 1. This was just sponsored by the rule of whiff, I think. So yeah, I was really struggling for battle tactics, and in the end I went for Revenge of the Namati because I'd rallied the Reavers, just got 1 back, and I was hoping they might chip off the last 3 wounds off Valkyr, but she's like a bloody armoured car.
Valkyr, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the battle tactic. We did some magic. The Eidolon managed to Steed of Tides its way over here, take back this objective. And it was then objectives really that I was struggling with. So I wanted to come and take this one so that I could get the 1, 2 and more. The king actually did his job this time. After pillow fighting with Bloodletters, he decided to come and absolutely tonk a Bloodthirster. But then Sharky couldn't match him. Sharky just decided to... So I think he had his spear the wrong way around or something. But he couldn't finish off the other Bloodthirster there. So I don't take that objective. I don't get a battle tactic. I just get 1 objective, 2 objectives, and now I'm 2 points behind.
Okay, the tide is almost out. Khorne turn 4. Not a bad turn. So battle tactic was reprisal, because I lost my general in the previous turn. So we thought we would get a bit of revenge and go for reprisal this turn. Prayer wise, it was fairly quick hero phase yet again. Didn't get the blood sacrifice off with the Bloodmaster. Didn't unbind the spell, forgot to do that, but it turned out it didn't matter too much anyway. Movement wise, we needed to get rid of the king, so we moved our Wrath of Khorne, Bloodthirster over. To go back to the hero phase, needed to spend the Blood Tithe for the Grand Strat, so we did the one where you get to attack in the hero phase, which went down quite well, I think. Was that the one where, 21 wounds, I think?
Yeah, 21 wounds.
21 wounds, yeah.
Sharky only had 6 left.
Yeah. So the axe has played. He's done well today. He could be in line for VIP, but there may be another one we might pick for that yet. So we got rid of Sharky, and then Valkyrie sort of dropped round the back after the Reavers. I was thinking about hiding her away, but I thought too much. She might be able to take them out. So she jumped round within 3, ready for the charge. Shooting, didn't get any shooting off as such. Nothing really happened there. So we're straight into charges. Both Bloodthirsters went in against the king. Valkyrie jumped in on the Reavers at the back, and we didn't really need to roll. We just stomped you, and the king was dead, and reprisal was made. So that was that, and then Valkyrie, she did her job as well. She went all out attack, and killed the Reavers, and they were gone, and that was the end of the turn. So battle tactic achieved. Score 1, score 2, score more, which takes me to 20 points on turn 4. And the final roll. Can I win one? No.
Well, for what it's worth, I'll take it. Hello. So turn 5, as it was in the end. Not a lot to do. I only had 1 model left, so I went for Intimidate Invaders. I was very intimidating with my 1 model. But, made the most of it, cast some spells, got Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield off, Steed of Tides over to there just to get the battle tactic, and I did some mortal wounds to him with one of my other spells. The Jaws, their little party piece, they finally got in the game. They went over a little guy. What is he, a Bloodmaster?
Bloodmaster, yeah.
He's a master of blood, but I am master of him because he is now dead. The Jaws swallowed him up. And then, just out of pure spite, I shot at this Bloodthirster and then just threw an Arcane Bolt at him as well and did 2 wounds. But I now hold 3 objectives and I got a battle tactic, so it was a 5-point turn with 1 model on the table. I mean 2 if you count the Jaws, but...
Khorne, turn 5, final turn. Battle tactic, leading to the Maelstrom was the only one we could do. So we had to have a hero in charge in and a battle line charge in, and at least one of them be within 3 at the end of the turn. So that was a battle tactic. We spent our blood tithe to get rend, an extra 1 of rend. That took 6 blood tithe. So that meant we did our grand strategy because we'd used one of the rewards every turn. So that was, we got the extra rend, which was movement. Setting up there, Valkyrie just moved in within 3 to try and just to deny Adam his grand strategy. Khorne jumped over into the middle to claim that objective. The instant rage guy moved around the back. Adam redeployed, which meant that I could no longer get them into combat. There was no way they could charge, move and charge. So what I did to try and get the battle tactic as a bit of a late charge was I summoned in a unit of 5 flesh hounds at the end of the movement phase. And they only needed a 7-inch charge to get +2 to the charge, so it looked like we could have got the battle tactic and got a full house, but they failed it, and I have no command points left, so they didn't get in. The Bloodthirsters did get in though. Swung his axe, got a few through. Well, no, in fact, no, he didn't. He went back to not hitting again. He got 2 through. He did a -3 rend, but I think Adam had a ridiculous +3 save, so I think we did 5 wounds in the end. And I think got 1 wound back, and that was the end of the turn, and end of the game. So I got 3 points that turn, and which took me on to 23, and 3 points for the grand strategy.
Conclusion! Fantastic! What a bloodbath. That's what we like. Gone through the 12 missions now, and what a way to finish it. We have the Deepkin flopping around like the little fishes, and Khorne just slapping around like he's no tomorrow. Or, put more eloquently, the fish elves decided to put up an elegant defence. And then the brutish Khorne just charged in and cared not for tactics. No.
To pieces.
Have you got a fish of the match?
It's tricky because they all kind of did stupid things, but they all kind of did good things. So
okay. Who did the least stupid thing?
Well, I'd probably have to give it to the general because he's the only one left alive.
I was about to say, surely the only person on the board gets.
Yeah, so he. I think by default it's him.
He deserves it.
Sharky had some good moments. The King had some good moments.
And some bad moments.
But both of them had bad moments as well.
Bad moment, yeah, that's it. Yeah. But okay. And Andy, a VIP.
VIP.
You actually get to choose from more than one model.
I do. Alive, I know. Yeah. And well, the model didn't put the most damage out, but I think was the most useful in the game, and that was Valkyrie. So I'm going to pick her.
Yeah, she was the most tricksy.
She was. She dropped in turn 1 at the back. Yeah. I think Adam had to deal with her. I think obviously with your grand strat being you need to keep him away from the boat.
And she denied that as well.
And she denied that, so she sort of hung around at the back with a 3-up save and 5-up ward. It's she's just annoying.
Yeah.
To be fair though, this is the first game she's really lasted to the end, and I think she did really well. Like I say, she didn't put a lot of damage out, but when she needed to, she got rid of the Reavers, and she took the hits when she needed to.
Yeah. She did good.
Most of the army did okay, really. Bloodthirsters did the work. They were typical Bloodthirsters. 1 minute they're swinging and smashing them to pieces, and
next
then
minute
getting nothing.
Putting it about a door. That's brilliant. And what did we think of the scenario? No risk, no reward. Could have been into each other could have been fighting immediately, starting within 3 inches of each other. But
in that sense, it was a bit cagey. We didn't get into combat till turn 2.
No, it didn't. Then it did kick off after that, though. But
quite literally.
Yeah, quite literally. Yeah, no, it was a good. I don't know. The wizards blowing up really didn't come into it. I didn't think.
You don't have any.
No, I don't have any.
And you didn't roll high enough.
Didn't roll high enough, so that didn't really sort of come into it. So it just seemed more of an objective game by sort of after that, really. But it was good fun. It was a
nice little bit. It's just that initial could possibly start close to each other that kind of makes you think. But it's almost like you naturally start 18 inches away just because you're so used to it that you just kind of think.
Well, I put the skull to way too far. Right at the back when he should have been further forward, really. But.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. And all that sort of thing, yeah. No, it was good to watch, and hopefully you guys enjoyed playing it.
Yeah, it's nice to get the fish out again.
Guys enjoyed watching it as well. Yeah, it was good to get them out, yeah. It was good, excellent.
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so that's it. So hopefully if you like this, you know what to do. You can like, subscribe, comment. Maybe tell us what other armies you'd like to see in matchups, or what other scenarios you definitely want to see with which matchups, etc. Please just comment. We might even comment back. It'd be even nice, wouldn't it? Quite good. But as always, as it's quite late now, until next time, bye.